Hey everyone, it's Mary Ann with Akashic Inspirations. And actually, this is going to be a BR to Michelle Carden's meditation that she has posted on her YouTube channel. I normally don't do this, but I felt drawn to share with you what the results of my meditation were. They actually involve Michelle and Glammy Witch. It's funny because I've tried to do this meditation twice. Well, I've done it total of 3 times. But the first 2 times I just by her voice and just going into meditation, I was what sometimes happens to me. I was just kind of like taken away. I don't know. I was aware of her speaking, and the next thing I know, the meditation is over, and I'm back to awareness. So it happened to me twice, and I thought, darn, I want to hear. I want to hear what she's, what the meditation is, and do it with consciousness. So yesterday I did it again, and yesterday, as we came into today, which is Imbolc and St. Brigit's Day, and I was really feeling a connection with that energies. I was cleansing my house. I put candles last night. I did the reading for the week last night. I was really inspired by her energies, by Brigit's energies of fire and the hearth and the home. And as I talked about in my video for the week, she has connections with goddesses that go much farther back in our history. And to me, she is connected with the energies of the most primal goddesses that we have here on earth, and that divine energy of hearth and home that is basic to who we are as humans. So I'm not surprised that the information that came through did so. The first thing I saw was after she indicates that if you haven't done it, I'll put the link down below so you could do the meditation. But in the meditation, she instructs you to put yourself into a capsule and be buoyed by a silver liquid. Well, the next thing I knew is that the capsule was opening, and I was walking out of the capsule, and I was walking into like a wooded area, and I came to a clearing, and I realized I wasn't alone, that I was walking with other women. And basically we were young girls, with our hair was down. We had wreath of white flowers in our hair. We had a very simple white smock, I would say, or dress, but the clothing seemed to be we were barefoot, so the clothing to me seemed to be of a time early on in Celtic history. So I would even I got the sense of maybe 300 or 400 AD, if not earlier. And the one who was initiating, this was some type of initiation ceremony. So the one who was actually officiating and doing the ceremony, I recognized as Glammy Witch, as Debbie. And I recognized that the person next to me, in this sisterhood, was Michelle. So I wanted to read a little bit part of what the ceremony entailed. And because I think it will bring forth information for someone who really needs to hear this part, and perhaps will resonate with this information. Going to this concept of purity in young women, we go to a theory of the Vestal Virgins, like from Rome. Now, the Vestal Virgins didn't originate in Rome. They were in Rome maybe about 700 AD, something like that they were really brought in and made to flourish and become a very integral part in the Roman culture. But prior to that, I believe it probably came from either Assyria, with Ishtar, or Astarte, which is the Hebrew goddess, that also had Vestal Virgins. Now, Vestal Virgins were not quote unquote virgins, really. But they would give themselves to, say, royalty or influential people in command, or who they wanted to be. I would assume they got visions of who needed to have their line extended. In other words, their line, their genetic line. And so these Vestal Virgins would lay with the kings or princes, sons of kings, or very influential warriors in order to be impregnated by them and raise these children as a royal subject. However, they would also have the teachings of the goddess so that they would continue to support the goddess and her work, and therefore the Vestal Virgins. So going back to Britain and where we were at, and the ceremony begins with an anointing of oil on the third eye. And the words that were spoken, I channeled these last night with the help of Debbie, and it says, "With this oil I anoint your eyes so that they may be opened to see." Now, this, of course, is, multiple. It's not just your physical vision. Of course, it's your third eye vision, your psychic vision, your intuition. Remember, a lot of the Vestal Virgins were also oracles and seeresses and midwives and so on. Then they, which I couldn't remember this part last night, but I remembered it this morning. They took some bitter herbs, and it reminded me very much of the Jewish Passover, about eating the bitter herbs as a part of the sensory experience of Passover, and to remind us that there is bitterness in life. So the same type of thought came through here. We were given bitter herbs to chew, but then it was immediately followed by sweet red wine. And so, in other words, you must take the bitter to enjoy the sweet of life, and to not keep focused on the bitter, but understand that it is a process for us to be able to have, in that time, the duality of the bitterness and the sweetness of life together, and that that is what it forms as a whole. Then we were instructed to hold hands, and what the initiation ritual said was, "Wilt thou hold hands to create the circle of life that flows continuously?" So in order to continue this process of creating the energetic circles, we literally held hands in the circle and allowed the energy to build up and to flow amongst us. And it was a sharing of energy from one person to the other. So if you've ever been in any type of, say, seminar or presentation where they've asked you to hold hands and then meditate and then, literally transfer your energy and allow it to flow through you, you'll understand, that could be, it could be actually feel like electricity running through your body, because you're feeling it, run through the entire meridian from hand to hand, and allowing your hand chakras to be stimulated. And that is really good for healing aspects. The last thing was that once we did that, we were paired with these young men who came in, and what they said was, "Be paired with those of holy blood and raise a nation to uphold her name." So this was part of the ritual, which is obviously a fertility ritual, as well, and in promoting the birthing of children, so that the lines continue, not only in the royal blood, but also with the balance of the spiritual aspect. In other words, it reminds me very much of the Guinevere energies in Glastonbury, where she was the holder of the space of the justice, whereas Arthur was the physical manifestation of it. So in essence, this is, I believe, where that comes from, was from here, these rituals in which the women were the holders of the energies and the males were the action part. And I think that this has real relevance for us today as well. That in as we talk about going into Valentine's Day, and we're talking about the twin flame Google Hangout that Glammy and I will have. It's really about being whole within yourself and understanding the female and male aspects of the relationship and how the energies work together. And I believe that we are now at the point in which we can create the type of relationship that we are looking for. In other words, not just leave it up to fate, but to literally to manifest through our understanding of what is a true union, a sacred union. And it is not only of the physical, but of the spiritual, and allowing these elements to work with the energies of the earth to guide us into understanding that we will, by your unions, you then create progeny that have come from a balanced state. So anyway, so that was the message that I received from Michelle's incredible meditation. So if you have not done it, I highly recommend her meditations. They're just beautiful. Go back and listen to some of her readings if you haven't listened to them before. She's just a wonderful example of a spiritual teacher who is present in the moment when she's giving you the message, and you can feel her heart-centeredness and her sincerity and the truth with which she does her readings and her meditations. So, Michelle, I send you many blessings, light and love. I thank you for your continued friendship and support and guidance. Namaste.